Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and I am now caught up on this season of Criminal Minds Evolution. We open with the BAU being informed that because of Luke's attack on Voight, he will no longer communicate with anyone until he sees his wife and kids. Maybe he only communicate with them. We don't know. But that's the way it is. Also, Emily, in a one-on-one, has Luke tell her what Voight told him. It seems there's this dark website that has to do with fake porn of BAU members, and that it has become a breeding ground for conspiracy theories, but Emily knows about it. She does, and she didn't tell anyone to keep them safe. They don't need to know about this. And it had been shut down. And he is ordered not to tell anyone, especially JJ. And it's very important. We will get into that later. Anyway, Rebecca tells Emily that there is this conspiracy theorist online, Alex Jones type, and he's coming up with evidence that the agent Voight killed last season wasn't killed by Voight. It's all a big false flag operation. He was assassinated because he was about to reveal government secrets that would blow the lid off the deep state. Running back the URL, it leads to an ex-neighbor of Emily's. So she's going to have to deal with that. And there's another unsub case comes up. People are being killed by suffocation on the day they move into a new house. There's been 3 victims so far, and the killer has been dubbed the moving day killer. So Tara and Rossi are sent to investigate that. Luke and JJ, this was part of Voight's demands, have to go to where the marshals have hidden his wife and kids and try to convince her to visit Voight. Also, Emily now has to talk to Garcia. Seems Tyler's gone off the reservation, which does not surprise Garcia, but Emily wants her to contact Tyler, which she doesn't want to do. She wants really nothing to do with him. But Emily asks her just inform him that because he's not returning Emily's calls, that if he does not report in, he will no longer be part of the investigation. Garcia agrees to that. So, we then get a cut to the people moving into a new house. The unsub turns out to be a heating and cooling air tech who has them sign off on a replacement filter tank. He's had to put in standard regulation. Everyone has to have one now. And then he unlocks a window. On the drive to talk to Sylvia Voight, JJ and Luke have a conversation about what he talked about with Emily, and he's ordered not to tell. She goes, well, can you give me a hint? And he gives her a hint, and she details most of what Emily told him. He's like, oh, I knew about that. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Well, what if it was dangerous? Well, if it's just, the AI porn stuff, I don't care. As long as it doesn't involve my family or my kids. Luke's going to have to think about that one. Well, they get to talk to Sylvia, and she's not about to. No. Their life is a shambles. The girls are going to need therapy for years to deal with this. She's going to have to change everybody's name. It's just been extremely difficult. Not helped when Luke notices there's something wrong with eldest daughter Holly, which just causes Sylvie to explode and tell them to leave. Meanwhile, Emily meets with her ex-neighbor, Brian, the conspiracy theorist, and tells him that what he's talking about is wrong. No idea what this is about. There was no government cover-up. And he's not just going to hurt Emily, but the man's parents and families and everything. And he agrees that he is going to be working on something else and won't be able to post any new videos for at least 4 to 6 weeks. She accepts that. Before she leaves, someone in hiding takes a picture of them together. Meanwhile, Tara and Rossi, doing some investigation, have discovered that there's all these tanks that were left at the crime scenes that are not standard regulation. This has been done by someone posing as a heating and cooling tech. This is how he's subduing his victims. He's gassing them, and he must be wearing a mask. And on top of that mask must be another mask that's frightening them after being exposed to the toxin, making them more pliable. So they have Garcia start looking into connections between the properties. They're all owned by the same rental company. Meanwhile, Tyler has tracked down the person who had the 3 passports. Someone he knows. They know each other from the surface. And he confronts him, and the man says that the only information he'll give is that the government isn't who paid him to get the strike force together. He won't say who, though. Mystery client. But he also knows Tyler won't kill him. That's not Tyler's way. And he leaves. Really what Tyler wanted was just to be in contact with him. He cloned his phone. Garcia does call Tyler and informs him what Emily wanted to, about him being jettisoned if he doesn't report in. And then starts to ask him about where he was for that missing 30 minutes. She knows he couldn't have been in the bathroom that long. That's not him. Garcia also manages to find the identity of the unsub. His mother was killed during a CO2 leak that killed many people in this rental property. And to add insult to injury, he and his father had gone into business together, and they had applied to take over these rental properties, and they were refused. Bad money, credit, and all that. And then after that, his father passed away. And so he's been targeting those rental properties in revenge. And Garcia has tracked down the last property. While they get everyone together to head out there, Sylvia has discovered something about her daughter that she'd been ignoring. Holly is cutting herself. The trauma people go through. It was a sad moment. The unsub attacks the couple in the last house, but when he takes out the electricity, as he does in all his other past ones, the husband had hooked up a generator, so the lights come back on. So he's not sneaking up on them. And although they've been starting to feel the effects of the gas, the sight of him jerks the husband into action and he attacks him. There's a struggle between them. He gets knocked out. Unsub goes after the wife, grabs her. The husband wakes up, attacks him, and they're fighting each other. And he's using a plastic wrap to smother his victims with, and he's got that wrapped around the husband when the FBI and police arrive. And while Tara is demanding he let the guy go, they can talk about this, Rossi sneaks up behind him and smacks him on the head with his gun, pulling his shoulder muscles. Which adds a bit of comedy after the guy's led away. Because she's like, well, I didn't know you had it in you. He goes, oh, what? I do exercise and Pilates and all that, although I did pull a muscle. So when we see him on the plane back, he's got this big bag of ice on his shoulder. And he's come to the realization, working on the case, he hasn't thought about Voight. And Voight hasn't visited him until that moment. Luke then tells JJ the site isn't what she thinks. There's only one person on the site, JJ, because she was a liaison. She was the face of the BAU. And it's not AI anime porn. About that time, Sylvia shows up. She explains about Holly and thinks that in order for her children to get closure, they should say goodbye to their father. But she has one caveat. She will see him first and set ground rules on his seeing his daughters. And he will do this, otherwise he won't see them. That's it. Doesn't matter what anybody else says, that's how it's going to be. Okay. Emily gets a phone call from Brian. And he has information about a secret deal the DOJ made with Voight. So she agrees to see him. Well, she's on her way. JJ pulls up the website, but we don't see what it is. Probably just as well, but she's pretty shaken by it. When Emily arrives at the garage, she finds two men beating up Brian, which she chases off with her gun. And she's calling 911 for Brian when two cops just show up. And they have her put her gun down and then step away. And when they ask Brian who did it, he points at Emily and says, she did this to me. Now, I am of course wondering, does he mean she set it up? Or is he lying to say she beat him up personally? And did the pictures that were taken have anything to do with it? And is he part of something that she's not aware of to get her out of the way? Maybe Gold Star set it up, who knows? But a pretty good ending right there. Yeah, a really complicated episode, a lot of stuff going on. And Voight didn't appear once. But yeah, I'm really curious to see the interaction between him and his wife. The kids are all just in bad shape because their father's a serial killer. How do you live through that? That's a tough one. And the stuff with JJ is just heartbreaking because she's got a family and she's been through a lot on with the BAU. Yeah, really good episode. Really starting to feel the paranoia that's coursing through the BAU about the rest of the DOJ. Yeah, there's going to be some really major reveals coming down the line of people in high places. And I'm curious as to who hired that strike team if it wasn't the U.S. Or was that a lie? Oh, forgot one important thing. Tyler showed up at Garcia's apartment with the phone. He wants to give it to her. He can't take it in. He got it in a less ethical way. And she doesn't want to take it. and he appeals to her former hacker identity. Oh, that puts her in a bind. Yeah. Want to make sure I didn't forget that. Like I said, things are heating up, and I'm looking forward to what the next episode will be. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.